Lisa in the chat says, we are all being MK Ultra, being exposed to this stuff just at a different level and pace. Is everybody back? We just had a huge drop. Maybe I should have, the poll shouldn't have been whether or not YouTube would shut down. Yeah, I just got cut out, brought back again. Not whether YouTube would suspend the stream, but whether if it would just play games and drop the signal all the time. Because this isn't, on some of the true crime streams that are even hours and hours long, this never happens. Okay, it seems like everybody's back. Some people weren't cut out. I don't know. Okay, that's weird. Because we just lost like 20 people in the chat. We just lost like 20 viewers. But let's continue.
So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing...
You will tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that. I value that. I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it.
Damn. Is anybody surprised Katt Williams is just dropping this many truth bombs here? This is crazy. And for whatever reason, he's doing it January 3rd, 2024. Whoever missed it at the beginning, he opened up. It doesn't matter if you Diddy or whoever. That's how he opened it up.
They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard drug in his life and don't have no stories of doing nobody dirty. And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Katt because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script. How? That's why I'm saying, that's why I can't let Ricky Smiley say he was supposed to play Money Mike. Because I wrote the words for Money Mike. I designed the hair for Money Mike. I collaborated with the wardrobe department and made outfits to make sure that no one in America would be wearing what Money Mike was wearing.
Yeah, I mean, look at the clear difference between the way Katt Williams is speaking and John Cena. I mean, just the level of difference here. It's as if he truly knows that nobody has any dirt on him because he never sold his soul. I'm not saying that's the truth. I don't know Katt Williams personally. I haven't followed him throughout his career. But his intonation and manner of speaking, I mean, it really is something crazy here. We don't usually see this level of confidence here. Again, like I said, it's either as if he believes he has the armor of God or he actually does.
I told him to go get the Prowler. I then told him to paint it purple. I told him don't have an actor playing a pimp. We could get an actual pimp, Archbishop Magic Don Juan to play. Like, I did far too much work for somebody to come years later and try to tag along just for their own self-aggrandizement.
Why didn't Cube set the record straight? Terry Crews could have set the record straight. Mike Epps could have set the record straight. Why none of them set the record straight?
That's what you were supposed to ask him when he told you those lies that no one's ever heard. Right, but he's telling you something no one's ever heard of. Nobody has ever heard, oh, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was in a movie, and somebody said, y'all should switch roles. Like, this is a business.
But that's the thing, Katt. Normally, when people are giving you information, I'm thinking I'm hearing it for the first time, and they're giving information no one else knows.
You know what's weird, though? Cammy says here, Katt Williams ain't saying nothing new. A lot of what he said here in the Joe Rogan interview came off as mind-blowing to too many. The dude is playing a character on the real-world stage. Here's the thing, maybe. But the way this interview, the way the dialogue is playing out here, it doesn't appear to be manufactured like in 99.9% of all other media. So if that is all part of the grand 4D chess game where they intentionally wanted to make this seem real, because, yeah, I mean, it's strange because there seems to be real, genuine energy here by both of them in this conversation. Whereas in many other, including Joe Rogan, I don't know, Joe Rogan might definitely be a show. But in many other media interviews and all of these things, it just seems so fake. Like, look at the John Cena interview we just watched. And then you look at this one. There's a clear difference.
I've ever heard. So I'm taking them at face value.
This is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash.
Well, here's the thing. If Katt Williams went on Oprah and did this, that would be a little different. Like, I've never even actually heard of this particular show before. But I don't know.
And doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history. Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person.
You know what else is kind of interesting? Is it possible, if this is Freemasonry Illuminati related, Kevin Hart came in at a low level with these deals, and then they hit him with a certain ceiling? And as he went up through the degrees, he had to increase whatever rituals, one of them being the Illuminati humiliation ritual of wearing a dress, and then he broke through that previous level into the next level.
What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Dave Scott saying, is this a form of revelation of method? It might be. It might be of just... The thing that strikes me, with all these other shills, like, they just don't come off as genuine. He's speaking, it comes off so genuine. I mean, maybe it's just because, maybe that's why they picked him, if he is a shill himself. They picked him because of his ability here. But he is head and shoulders above genuine conviction than all these other shills.
They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium.
It's a cabal. How many people call it a cabal other than, like, really hardcore conspiracy theorists? The one thing that I'm kind of thinking here is 2024, there's a significance here in why, because I know little bits and pieces of this have been said for a long time. I don't recall anybody putting all of this in a single interview like Katt Williams is doing here. I don't recall that. If people know, then they know. I know tons of people have been dropping tidbits for decades. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody just do it all like Katt Williams just did in a concise couple of minutes. The court of public opinion said they've been making men wear dresses since Flip Wilson and Geraldine. That was the 70s. Yeah, we talked about that. But specifically marketing towards children on a mainstream wide level, I would pick Mrs. Doubtfire in 93 for that, where there was a shift where it went super mainstream. But yes, obviously, Lord Zed here's Shakespeare plays, dudes were women. This stuff has been going on for a long time, sure. I'm kind of focusing on just the past few decades and the difference in humiliation rituals. We're going to get into the women next because it was a little bit alarming. The poll that I did in the community tab, if you don't participate in the MindShock community tab, make sure you check that out. We do a lot of polls and I ask people a lot of questions. I did a poll on who are humiliated more by Illuminati humiliation rituals. 68% men, 22% women, too triggered to answer, 9%. Kill the Bank posted here was surprised to see that at the time he responded, it was 100% men. It was a tough decision for me because women have to show themselves completely nude a lot of the time. I would have to think that is pretty humiliating, but I chose men because having to wear women's clothing, with some even having to kiss other men and act inappropriate, just seems so degrading to me. In the end, I feel like it was a toss-up. Johnny Oggs posted publicly men, privately women. And I would say it's all been publicly done, and we're going to get into why in a moment here. And it's actually, I'm kind of shocked nobody's talking about it. Because like I mentioned at the beginning, it's like the feminists pick issues which are kind of non-issues to be outraged over, and then the real issues where women really are degraded and humiliated, they completely ignore or pretend it's empowerment. And we're going to get into that in a moment.
They rock with who they rock with, and they don't with who they don't. But I'm not scared of being the competition any more than you were when you lined up across from a superior team. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources, and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't.
Wow.
Because Shannon Sharp got to be a different person than that other person.
Absolutely.
And he always was. That doesn't change when I change teams. That remains the same. That's how a legacy is built.
So
all of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out.
Shortcut takers. What did he just reveal there with shortcut takers? I mean, the amount of truth here is just absolutely insane. I mean, just absolutely insane. Cammy, I went over Bill Cooper in a podcast. Pretty deep dive into Bill Cooper. I also have an extensive summary of his book on in the literature playlist on MindShock.
But he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, there's 3 other black guys on there. Woo! Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get there.
The court of public opinion says, Bruce, did you know of Katt when they were trying to make him look crazy a couple years ago? Not extensively. Not extensively. I did not follow him. I thought it was weird, but I didn't really do a deep dive. I mean, it's almost like he's testifying here. The way he's speaking here, I mean, it's also different. The Joe Rogan interview was not quite like this. It was a little bit like it. It's almost like he's testifying here. It's just crazy, and he seems very genuine.
I told him no. What y'all do?
I mean, just even the way he's saying this. So he refused Weinstein's advancements, and then he goes to all these other people, and he said no, and he's wondering how many other people said no to Weinstein. And we're going to get into Weinstein in a moment as well.
And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. Behind my back, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular old comedian that's bitter and jealous. But in my face, no, no, no. The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about.
And something as simple as that, like, does that not resonate? They pay you to not talk about things they don't want talked about. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, the fact, I know this went semi-viral, but the fact that it didn't go even more viral, I mean, this is just insane. This is just absolutely insane. And his testimony, again, let's compare the way Katt Williams is speaking here and the way John Cena was speaking in the interview that we just went over. I mean, this is just night and day. Rebecca said here, Katt is untouchable, I would guess, because he has not put himself in any compromising situations nor accepted any favors, apparently. So this is twofold. As someone mentioned in the chat earlier, they think Katt's a shill, and his role here is to speak the truth as part of revelation of the method, which is why he was chosen. Otherwise, maybe they would have killed him off, right? Why would they have trouble killing people? It seems like a lot of people have strange deaths, and especially celebrities. But yeah, he might not have sold out, and I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
They tell you that themselves. I can't do that because Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he has 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows. He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Katt Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people.
This guy's hilarious in the way that he's just destroying the narratives. Like, the matter-of-fact fashion in which he's testifying here. I mean, this is great. This is absolutely great.
And lost because Katt Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig. And I went in and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore.
If he's lying, see, here's the thing. If he's lying, he must be one of the most talented liars. The way he just rolled all of that with conviction on the fly. I mean, okay, maybe he is a shill, but to me, he seems the least shill-like out of probably anybody I have ever seen. I can't think of anyone who seems less shill-like. I mean, even hardcore conspiracy theorists sound like more like shills than this guy. I mean, this guy has genuine written all over him. I mean, it's really impressive, actually, I have to say. His delivery and the way that he's able to roll all of this on the fly. I mean, it's crazy.
Imagine him coming to tell you another story where he got so big and it was Bernie and them's fault because they wanted to be movie stars. What? You called Ocean 11 to get that nigga's part. What do you mean you didn't want to be a movie star? So on the behalf of Bernie.
This guy's like a fact-checking machine. I mean, he's crazy. I think that's just you, Dave Scott. I'm showing no drop in stream on my end. I think everybody else is still here. That might just be your connection, Dave Scott.
I would have to say what I have to say.
Have you ever been on tour with any of these guys?
Every guy I mentioned to you is not funny out there in real life.
I mean, just the unapologetic nature. I mean, look at this guy's face. He makes no apologies. I mean, this is just, what a breath of fresh air in general media. I mean, he makes absolutely no apology. It seems like he's just calling it how it is, making absolutely no apologies for it.
So no. Faison's never done his own tour in 30 years. Steve Harvey don't do stand-up no more. Cedric doesn't write. I'm sorry, he doesn't write. Ricky Smiley has been playing the same old black woman forever. Like, you can't get a young fan base with that. Like, you gotta be doing karaoke around the country to make that work.
Right.
And he is.
And that's another thing, too. Just looking at, like, there's no Freudian slips. There are no micro-expression tells. Because even if someone's a shill, I mean, they'd have to be an extremely well-trained shill. Because even Alex Jones has tells and micro-expression. That doesn't mean he's lying, per se, obviously. But that does mean there's something else going on. With Katt Williams here, I'm not seeing any signs of deception. There's literally nothing here. This guy, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, Dr. Corbeau here, you can still be a shill by telling the truth. Yeah, we just went over that. If he is a shill and his role here was simply to tell the truth, then maybe. But I don't know. Again, he seems the less shill-like out of anybody I can even remember. He seems the less shill-like.
But I'm a stand-up comedian. This is my 19th 100-city tour. I'm not gonna have a conversation with these lazy bums that'll take a shortcut at any point. Yes, it's easier for you to juice than to get in the gym, but you don't get to bring that body in here talking crazy.
Talk about how good you look.
What? No, there's too many comics out there that are putting their life on the line to tell these jokes, man.
Okay. Let's get to your upbringing. We're gonna circle back and we'll get
I want to protect him real quick, because you had said for the Kings of Comedy, it was in 2018, 2019, but did you mean 1999? Because it came out in 2000, so I just want to make sure.
No, I didn't. No. So what I meant to say was, remember, he said I couldn't do stand-up anymore. I had 7 TV shows. I said he didn't have any of those TV shows at the time.
I know you talking about Cedric.
Joke stealing from Cedric.
Cedric.
So
Okay,
you had said that 2018, 2019, but it came out in 2000, so I just want to make sure.
Okay, no. What comes out in 2000?
The original Kings of Comedy.
Right. I'm on BET's Comic View, and they're using this as the commercial in 1998. Okay. That's why I'm saying, yeah. So if I said the dates wrong,
let's go back and clear that up.
Okay.
You said, I had Cedric on here, and I asked him about the joke stealing, and he said the timeline doesn't add up.
Correct.
To that point, you say.
Right. So he thought that I was just a no-name comedian and that he could take this joke and nobody would know.
Right.
The issue was that I had already done this particular joke on BET's Comic View twice.
Right.
It had done so well on BET's Comic View that they had made it part of the commercial. So part of the commercial of make sure you tune in to BET was you seeing me doing this joke.
Right.
And this joke is one of those jokes in comedy where you set it up and it takes a little longer to set it up, takes about 3 minutes, but then you're just hitting them with jokes after that because you don't have to set it up.
Right.
Mark Curry had already helped me work on this joke because I thought it was good because I was getting a standing ovation on it. He had me go back in the lab and help me craft it to be an even more powerful joke. So this is not just a random joke. This is my very best joke, and it's my last joke, and it's my closing joke.
Okay.
1998, I'm doing this joke. It's on Comic View. Cedric comes to the Comedy Store. He watches me in the audience. He comes backstage. He tells me what a great job I did and how much he loves the joke.
And here's another thing, too. Someone who's lying, they wouldn't just immediately jump into this very detailed explanation of the timeline. Someone who's lying would have gotten immediately uncomfortable, dodged the question, or tried to explain it away. He literally went into the most detailed explanation possible. Now, that doesn't mean he's not lying, but it just means that he's either the most talented liar ever, or he's telling the truth here, because to be able to be that specific, I mean, this is crazy. This interview was January 3rd, 2024. I don't know if it's coincidental. that he didn't do this interview in 2023. I don't know if there's some kind of meaning to as soon as it turns 2024, the truth will be revealed. That's what he said at the beginning of it. He said all will be revealed.
2 years later, he's doing that as his last joke on the Kings of Comedy. And he's doing it verbatim. He's just changed my car into a spaceship. Him and Steve had already apologized for me, so I gave him a pass for a decade. Why would you sit here and be like, I saw Katt 30 times, and Katt didn't do, as I stand before you, Shannon, I would have bust Cedric's stomach. There was nothing that would have kept me from one of these in that patch right there. Like, are you kidding me? Why would you downplay me like that?
How many people also testify by saying, as I stand before you? Again, not that it proves that he's not lying, but there's just something so genuine about this guy. Cammy is saying here, I don't believe Katt is lying. I'm just saying he has nothing to worry about because I believe he's just playing a character because he was told to or he's allowed to without permission. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm not saying he's not a shill. I'm just saying he appears to be the least shill-like out of literally anybody I've ever seen. And he did drop plenty of names, though. He dropped a ton of names.
Why did I give you a pass if you were just gonna lie? And so that's what I'm saying. Like, they're all a group. Cedric, Steve, Ricky, they've been a group. Everybody knows that. They've been aligned. And there are these alliances in comedy. And if you stand against them, then they sometimes have a problem. But we don't let that change the content because that's all you know me for, is that I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Now,
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, he dropped tons of names. He's talking about Epstein Island, Chris Tucker. I mean, he literally dropped so many names. P. Diddy, which is, that's a huge name to drop, obviously. And now everything that's coming out all these months later, it's kind of crazy.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times.
Wow. That's crazy.
4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no.
Damn. Wow. Wow.
You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need to know.
I got the receipt for everything I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it so freely. Because he has the receipts. I can't help but think there's something more going on here. Like, if he is... Like, if he is a Freemason himself, and he's doing this all within accordance of the rules of Freemasonry without lying, I mean, could that explain it? I don't know.
You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
Because early on, you was accusing me of being...
Katt, man. Katt.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because I'm favored by God. Like, when I see people's wives and stuff, I don't even look at them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to look at nothing I don't want to have. Because I know how blessed I am. If I look at it, I got it. That's how Diddy be feeling.
No, come on, man. So, you're not supposed to look at anything that you don't want.
Yaya Kelly asks, wonder if the feds have talked to Katt. I mean, if we're taking bets, probably, right? Unless, again, he does have some kind of protection from above. Or if he is a Freemason, he's doing this all within the rules. So that way there's no issue.
Not me personally, just because God has given me literally everything I ever even pump faked like I want.
What? I mean, this guy is just amazing. I've never heard anybody speak like that. God has given me everything I've even pump faked to have wanted. I mean, wow. All I can say is wow.
And that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing.
So, final thoughts here on Katt blowing the whistle and all this. We got the dress wearing. We have I'll go over a recap at the end here because now we're going to move into female actresses and Hollywood humiliation rituals specifically for the female actresses and the difference between, let's say, an artistic film, regardless of what the content is, whether it has sex, nudity, whatever, and a specific Illuminati humiliation ritual, because I don't believe every single scene that's weird is specifically an Illuminati humiliation ritual, but there are certain ones that definitely stand out. If YouTube, again, will allow. I wonder if that wheel around his neck also is Ezekiel's wheel from the Bible, referencing the movement of the celestial sphere in the heavens above. Court of Public Opinion says he won't lose a thing because he doesn't need the backing of the powerful. He actually has talent. I wonder, see, here's the thing. If 99% of people in Hollywood are compromised, then they will lose everything. And if there's a 1% that's not, and they're not in a position to lose because of it, if there is some kind of occult spell over Hollywood, movie magic, Tinsel Town, if there's some kind of spell or rules, occult rules, perhaps that does allow the 1% to not be harmed by the other 99%. Who knows? YouTube's playing some games here. What's going on? We're going to get into some really controversial stuff coming up even more, so... So we're going to go through a few different movies, and again, I'm going to compare scenes that seem to be Hollywood Illuminati humiliation rituals and many, many scenes that are not, just so we can kind of see the difference here. So we're going to go through the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and today, because there seems to be this huge shift happening now where it's so obvious. And in the 80s, for example, I think it was a lot less obvious.